What if I told you there was a 2,500-year-old guide to self-awareness that's shockingly relevant today? Well, there is. Today, we're diving into the Anumana Sutta, an ancient text that's basically a mirror for your mind. You're going to be amazed at how its wisdom can help us see ourselves a lot more clearly right here and now.
So let's just start with a really direct question, and I want you to actually think about this for a second. How clearly do you really see yourself? Not the version you post online, and not even the one you tell yourself about in your head. I mean the real you. This is the big question the Sutta challenges every single one of us to answer.
And this quote just brilliantly illustrates the core metaphor of the whole text. It wants us to think of our mind like a mirror. You know, when you look in a real mirror and see a smudge on your face, what do? You wipe it off, right? Of course you do. Well, the Sutta suggests we should do the exact same thing with our internal blemishes, the unhelpful parts of our character. Okay, so how do we even start this process of cleaning the mirror? Well, the text suggests we first need to understand two very different mindsets. And look, this isn't about being a good or bad person. It's all about how open we are to growth. It asks, are we difficult to advise, or are we easy to advise? I mean, just look at the contrast here. On one side, you've got the person who's difficult to advise. They're impatient, they resist feedback, and what happens? Others stop trusting them with honest advice. But on the other side, the person who's easy to advise is patient, they take instruction well, and because of that, they earn that trust. And here's the crucial part. These aren't fixed personality traits. They are qualities we can all actively work on. So you're probably wondering, okay, how do I know which category I fall into? Well, the cool thing is the Sutta doesn't leave us guessing. It gives us a very specific checklist of 16 unflattering qualities. These are the actual smudges and blemishes we should be looking for in our mental mirror.
Yep, 16. This isn't some vague, feel-good advice. The text is incredibly detailed, giving us a precise framework for self-reflection. Let's break them down into a few main groups.
All right, this first group of blemishes, it's really all about our ego and our intentions. We're talking about things like having ill will towards others, being contemptuous or domineering, praising yourself while putting other people down, or being deceitful or just plain arrogant. These are the qualities that really create friction in our lives and cloud up that mental mirror.
Now, the next group, this one is all about how we react when we're challenged. Do we get angry easily or hold on to grudges? When someone gives you a little bit of feedback, is your first instinct to resist it or maybe even criticize them back? Or do you try to change the subject? These are all those defensive reactions that just build a wall between us and really valuable insights.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the most important blemish of them all, having a closed mind. This is being so attached to your own views that you just can't let them go, even when you're presented with really good reasons. The text says this person holds onto them tenaciously. It's the ultimate barrier to learning because, hey, if you already think you have all the answers, you're never going to be open to new ones. So we have this list of 16 things to look for. But let's be honest, it's really hard to see these qualities in ourselves, right? That's why the Sutta gives us this brilliant little tool to help. It's called Anumana, which basically means inference. Anumana sounds like a fancy word, but the idea is actually super simple and incredibly powerful. It just means using your reactions to other people as a way to understand yourself. It's like using the outside world as another kind of reflection. The real power of this is in its simple if-then logic. Think about it. You notice a quality in someone else, maybe they're arrogant or dismissive, and you realize, wow, I really don't like that. That's so disagreeable to me. The inferential leap is to then think, well, if I act that way, I must also be disagreeable to other people. It's using your own emotional compass to guide your own behavior. So clever. Now, this logic isn't just some one-off thought experiment. The Sutta lays it out as a continuous, active process of self-review. It's like a daily practice for keeping that mirror nice and clean. And here are the steps. It's a simple loop. First, you regularly ask yourself about each of these qualities. Hey, do I do this? Second, if the answer is yes, you just honestly acknowledge it. No shame, no judgment, just a simple, yep, that's there. Third, you make a conscious effort to work on abandoning that quality. And fourth, and I love this part, if you find the quality is absent, you allow yourself to feel happy and glad. You reinforce the positive. It's a cycle of honest reflection, effort, and positive reinforcement.
So, what's the whole point of all this self-examination? It might sound like a lot of hard work, but it's not about being hard on yourself. It's about the freedom and the happiness that comes from having a really clear view.
And let's be absolutely clear on this. The goal is not to become some perfect, flawless person with a completely spotless mirror. That's an impossible standard, and it's not the point at all. Instead, the real strength, the real benefit, comes from the practice itself. It's about having the courage to look honestly in that mirror every single day, to see what's really there, and to do the gentle, ongoing work of cleaning off the smudges you find.
And that brings us right back around to the beginning, doesn't it? This ancient wisdom isn't just some dusty old theory. It's a practical tool for your life starting right now. So the final question really is for you. What will you see in your mirror today?